Yes, ma'am. Okay. Kanchan ma'am is waiting at the back. Shatabdi, if you can.
You will finish that and come.
Right. So I think we are live. A very warm welcome to all you wonderful educators on this amazing third episode of Q&I presents the TalkEd series, which is being hosted by Universal Mentors Association. We have a stellar of a panel today. It is going to be one of the most amazing sessions that we are going to host. We're talking about the education policies today, and we have a very special guest with us, Professor Ranjit Singh, who is the Vice Chancellor of Shobit University. I'll quickly introduce all the panelists, and then we'll, we have a small introduction, and then we'll move ahead. We have our moderator of the session. Just a second. Mrs. Seema Sheikh, who's the director and principal, Pragyan Bodhni High School. We have with us Ms. Anita Singh Rana, who's the principal of Trinity School. Ms. Anita Renu George from the Trinity School. From the Aspire Residential Public School, I'm sorry. Dr. Suvita Das, Principal Dilip International School. Ms. Kanchan Tare, Principal SSRVM. We have Mr. Ravin. We are get to be joined by Mr. Ravindra Kirtane, sir, who's the principal of the Royal Ecole School. We have Mrs. Sarita Gomes, who's the principal of Marwari Vidyalaya High School. We have Ms. Minakshi Upadhyay, principal Srimati Surajbhai Vidya Mandir. And we have a very renowned educationist amongst us, Ms. Shaileja Muleji. Welcome to all the wonderful panelists, wonderful educationists. We have also with us Mr. Akash Gautam, who's the academic head of Q&I, and Mr. Anurag Chandra, product head and from Q&I. So before we go ahead and start our session, it is such a wonderful panel. I request Mr. Akash Gautam to start off, the session by welcoming all the wonderful guests and give a small brief about this amazing panel that we have.
Okay. Thanks, Sandeep. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all on behalf of Q&I to this webinar, where we'll be discussing a lot about the new education policies and how is it affecting the teaching and learning in schools. So before we come to the topic, I am Akash Gautama, the academic head here at Q&I. I'm an IIT Kanpur graduate, and I graduated from IIT Kanpur. After graduation, I was a teacher for the last 13 years. I've been training students in to qualify examinations like JEE. And somehow I have been instrumental in, training a lot of students and making them successful. Many of my students have got admission into the IITs with ranks under 100 and under 10 as well. So before we start the webinar, I'd like to briefly introduce ourselves as a company. So Q&I is an edtech venture by Thomson Digital, which is by the promoters of India Today Group. So Thomson Digital have been in the field of education and technology for the last 50 years. So we have been providing content and technology solutions to the scientific, engineering, and medical community across the world. So Q&I is our offering for the Indian students looking for a future in engineering and medical, and also looking forward to excel in their board preparation and board results. Coming to the topic of discussion, the topic is current education policies and their impact on teaching and learning. Now, we have known that education policies do play a very important and crucial role in shaping teaching and learning environment in India. The impact of these policies can vary on central and state government initiatives and the implementation efforts of the school, because not just the policies are created, how they are implemented in the schools on the ground level is going to play a very important and huge role to get the final outcome in form of students learning and their results. So education policies, if we talk about, there have been a few in the recent past. And one of the prominent ones are the National Education Policy 2020, which is NEP 2020. So just, outlining the important aspects of NEP 2020, that it emphasizes holistic development, critical thinking, and skill-based learning for the students. So some of the key aspects are that definitely it empowers and enforces, early childhood education, reforms in school education. It also brings the aspect of multilingualism in the education parts, right? That language should not be a barrier of learning. So it basically highlights on that aspect as well. Now, very important aspect of NEP 2020 is the skills and vocational education, because we as, academicians, as schools, and as responsible tutors, work towards not just giving sort of a normal education to the students, but we are also trying to prepare the students for a better future and who will be able to, contribute to the nation's progress. And skill and vocational education is going to play a very important role in that. And last but not the least, we are also looking forward to use of technology in education through NEP 2020 policy that is been drafted. So there are other policies as well, apart from what NEP 2020 is already there, because it is the most recent one and the most prominent one, which is basically trying to bring a lot of change in the way we have been teaching and we have been and the students have been learning. But there are other policies like, Right to Education Act is there. Then there is a policy of there is new initiative of digital initiatives, platforms like e-Pathshala, Swayam, which aim to provide digital resources to the students who will be able to learn on their own in form of online courses and many other educational platforms to the students. And not just for the students, but also for the teachers. There are initiatives like examination reforms, where examinations are not just being looked upon as, the end of learning journey, but they are, somehow embedded inside the learning journey itself, which will basically, be more focused towards assessing students' learning in the process, in the process itself, and not just as the end. So assessments are not just looked as methods of judging the students, but rather deriving inputs and information out of the assessments, as in where exactly the students and learners are actually facing problems, and identifying those mistakes is the first part. Then obviously working towards solving their learning gaps and the challenges that the students are facing is the final conclusion of the assessment part. One of the good or better initiatives that I have seen inside the schools also is in form of adult tinkering labs. Right? This is also a very important aspect, where we try to bring sort of an experiential learning approach for the students by promoting the lab culture, innovation, and practical learning approach with hands-on experiences in science, technology, and engineering. So these all are policies and initiatives that are, taken by the government at various levels, government and state both combined. But at the end, the success of these policies and initiatives is what that matters. And it totally depends on how effectively these policies and initiatives are implemented at the ground level, whether we have adequate funding to, successfully run these initiatives, and addressing the existing challenges such as, inadequate infrastructure, because we are slowly, graduating towards embedding technology into the education, system, but are we infrastructurally ready to, give that experience to the learners and the students is something that we need to think upon. And also the socio-economic disparities that may hinder the process of learning altogether. So this is just my opening remark, because we are having a lot of, people and academicians, distinguished academicians in their, fields. So we'll definitely be, talking about a lot in these aspects. So I now hand over to Sandeep, and then we will take this webinar forward.
Thank you so much, sir. And I think very aptly started. And now when we have such a stellar panel, it would be a crime if I keep on talking and, if I keep on keeping you away from such amazing knowledge. Without further ado, I hand over the amazing session to Dr. Seema Sheikh, ma'am, to please moderate the session and take this away. We'll see you during the, the last leg of this amazing session. Have a wonderful discussion. Seema ma'am, up to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sandeep. Thanks a lot. Yes, I'm very excited about today's session because I think NEP is one topic which is so close to my heart. And when we have such a august gathering of such educated panelists, I think I am actually going to learn a lot. So all those questions for which I need the answers, I have put across those questions over here. Yeah. So coming to the new education policy, when we are talking about it, a lot has been said, but if we are using singular terms for it, many of them call it as innovative, informative, inclusive, integrated policy with a lot of integrity, which has a lot of joyful approach, a lot of engaging and enriching approach in it. But then along with it, we also realize that yes, this policy also has challenges along with it, and that is the entire concern. Just yesterday, I conducted one face-to-face session on NEP, and I started with the challenges, and half of the talk went on just addressing the challenges before I could get into the actual nitty-gritty of NEP. So people get worried with the challenges, but let me share with you that I'm very fortunate that a lot of pilot projects that NEP wanted to do through the central ministry, I could get a chance to be a part of these pilot projects, right from language twinning program to urban-rural exchange programs. We could take it ahead and we could see the results also. So I would say that nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. The only thing is that you need to be, very positive in your approach, and the never say die spirit has to be there. I think if you live with that spirit, everything becomes possible. And yes, to begin with, we have Professor Ranjit Singh with us, who is here as a very eminent speaker amongst us. And I would like to talk to him and understand more about it. So when I was just having a chat with him, sir had put up something that he can share something regarding the OBE. And I was a little, confused. I said, sir, what do you mean by OBE? And then he explained it to me in quick words. So yes, terminology sometimes becomes a problem, a hindrance. But then we realize that yes, this is just a terminology. We are also doing all these things. The same happens with the teachers also. When teachers get into teaching, many times they are not aware what is Bloom's taxonomy when we talk about, but actually they are practicing it. They are practicing Bloom's taxonomy. So right like that, I would like to understand more on OBE and its connection with new education policy and how it is going to enable learning happen in a much more better way if we focus in that direction through that perspective. And what changes are visible through that medium? Yes. Over to sir. We would like to hear from you. And I think his opening statements are going to be, are going to lead us towards our whole conversation, which is going to happen today.
Thank you very much, Seema ma'am, for nice introduction. And I am honored to be the part of this panel, where I think I am only representative from higher education. Very nice to see the eminent persons from school education. And as you said, much has been talked on NEP, and we are doing things on this implementation part, because it is still a policy, and you need many changes in rules, regulations at central government level and state government level, education being concurrent subject. And that is happening too. I fully endorse your views that if we wish, we can bring the changes. So first we need to understand, same thing happened with me. Even I was not knowing much about OBE. Only for last 2 months, I am working on this with some experts. And this is very much, connected with the national education policy and its provisions, where generally we speak that we will make learning enjoyable. That is learner-centered. It will not be content-centered or teacher-centered. So it is easy said than done, and we need to do lots of exercise on this. And obviously, I agree that we have to start somewhere, and then when we will move ahead, we will keep on discussing, problems will come and solutions obviously will come. As far as higher education is concerned, we all know that there were certain problems with higher education, whether we speak, it is mentioned in the policy even that is highly fragmented. There's very hard boundaries between the disciplines. There are no ways to assess even the teachers. The progression is not good. Autonomy is not there. And we are doing things in, piecemeal manner, which is not really resulting in some output. So when it comes to OBE, outcome-based education, and if we know that AICT, that is All India Council for Technical Education, they signed the Washington Accord, and there it is mentioned that engineering education will be outcome-based. Outcome-based is not a very typical term. As you said, we are already working on the things that you make education more learning-centered and more toward employability. That means you give a product to the employer, which is as per the requirement of the employer. That is OBE. Now, what we need to do in OBE, we simply, as university, as I'm working in a university, it is situated in a small town, Gango, in Sahanpur district of Uttar Pradesh. And we are around 11 faculties with me, around 4,000 students, medical, non-medical, engineering, law, education, and all kind. We are a multidisciplinary university. We fulfill one mandate of national education policy, that is multidisciplinary university. Now here, if we see the input, the student, from where the student come, from different backgrounds, diverse cultures and family backgrounds. When we want a student to learn it enjoyably and to learn in tune with the national education policy, that is when we speak of skills, knowledge, as well as values. What NEP seeks is to make a person complete human being. That include everything, knowledge, skills, and values. So to make learning more enjoyable, we have to define and elaborate many things. So if as an institution, for example, I am in Shobit University. So what is the vision of university? What is the mission of university? That vision mission is to be aligned with the mission of each school or the department, and then with each program by defining program educational objectives which are in tune with the vision and mission, and then program outcomes. If we are able to define program outcomes, only then we will be able to prepare graduates who will be able to do those things which we expect them to do. Once you define program outcomes, then program outcomes can be achieved only if we define the course outcome, that is the subject. So everything starts from the subject, and subject is a part of syllabus, and syllabus is a part of curriculum. That simply means that we have to revamp and restructure our curriculum. That is one part. So we have to define our course outcomes very clearly, and we have to match those course outcomes, which course outcome is being aligned or matched or covered by which topic of the subject. And then we have to map those course outcomes with the program outcomes, and to see whether by doing so, we are able to achieve the program educational objectives that leads to employability. So what is needed and what I have learned over 2 months on OBE, that we have to make a very detailed teaching, learning, and assessment plan. That is one thing. I think at school level, you all do this. So more elaborative teaching, learning, and assessment plan. That means the topic, when it is to be covered, what should be the pedagogy, whether it is face-to-face class or whether it will be online class, virtual class, asynchronous or non-asynchronous or synchronous, for example, or whether you want the learner to learn from some online source. So that detail has to be worked out. And the main change that is there is that along with lecture, tutorial, and practical, one more component is added through National Credit Framework, that is experiential learning, learning by doing, learning on the basis of activity. So those things need to be included, and then the assessment will be based upon what you mentioned in the beginning, Bloom taxonomy, different levels of Bloom taxonomy, and we have to develop the assessment tools so that formative assessment is done right from the beginning, and at the end, when the learner completes the program, the result is given to him or her. So that is the basic purpose of OBE, and we as university, we are working on this. Obviously, it will take time, and it needs participation of all stakeholders, right from the teachers, and then obviously the HODs, deans, directors, and obviously the top university authorities. We are working on this, and these things are to be worked in detail, and everything is to be specified so that the student knows what he or she will learn, how she or will learn. Learning will be more made more outside the classroom, not in the classroom. That is what is expected in National Education Policy and National Credit Framework. So this is all about OBE, and I would like to say here that we are working on this, and probably from next session or this session, we will be able to implement this. Thank you.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. That was great input. And I think that OB is something which I look it as a big umbrella. But in the classrooms, even when teachers are designing their lesson plans, they look at the learning outcomes. And I think if all these learning outcomes, we align them, we get what you call as OBE, and towards the end of it, then what we will be looking at will be OBE. I'm very happy that you spoke about the vision mission, which is so very important for any educator to give the best. It's very essential to align with the vision mission of the organization, and we as educators need to align with the vision and mission of the NEP, which is coming into existence or rather has already started creeping in, and I think that is the most important aspect of NEP, and I see that it is gradually coming. Nothing is getting thrusted on us, and that's the beauty of it, so that we are also getting used to that idea. So now I would like to put across a question to all the honored panelists over here. All the honorable panelists, I am expecting you to answer in 3 minutes this question, which is common to all. NEP 2020 has been designed with a very futuristic vision and well-guided principles. How have you upscaled and revamped your approach towards education to remain aligned with the vision and the principles of NEP 2020? So your efforts in keeping yourself abreast of these changing times, what do you think have you done so that as a leader you can say that, yes, I have decided and I have already started walking my way, paving my way towards making NEP a success. So I would like to begin from Meenakshi ma'am. Meenakshi Upadhyay, would you like to talk about it? Welcome, Meenakshi ma'am. You are on mute, I think. Meenakshi ma'am, you are on mute. Meenakshi ma'am, you are on mute.
Sorry.
Yeah, now
So,
we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, in my school, from last year onwards, we have started in the beginning of the year taking sessions and meeting of teachers where we have planned the curriculum in such a manner where we start with vision, mission, and we try to have goals, aims, and the entire school we have zeroed down to 3 goals. And now in that we are emphasizing developmental goal where SEL is social emotional learning is enhanced, or we have activities on that. When we have academics, then we have merged this curriculum and social studies. We have merged this entire curriculum with competency, with integrated learning, with art, with music. So actually earlier also we used to do, but NEP has emphasized or helped us that how collaboratively we can make the curriculum so that it becomes easy for the teachers to function entire year. They did not think again and again what to do. In the beginning of the year, we opened the school 1 week in advance to the normal schooling. And then we have sessions, we have discussions, and then the entire year's program is chopped out with the help of this NEP's policy and this, where you have mentioned, sir was saying about vision mission. So in our school, we are doing it. The curriculum planning is emphasized with the help of vision mission, its developmental goal, academics, and competency.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I think, yes, very important thing that Meenakshi ma'am mentioned was that about incorporating cell learning. And this is what NEP is expecting, cell learning, which means socio-emotional learning. And this has to become an integral part of all your lessons, you know, so you have to integrate that throughout. And you all have already started doing it. So I think you all are really making your way towards NEP in the most successful manner, I should say. Thank you, Meenakshi ma'am, for that. And now I come to Rana ma'am. Rana ma'am, I would like to repeat the same question for you as to what have you done in your school, your approach towards education to remain in line with the vision and mission of NEP.
Yeah, very thank you, Seema ma'am, and my hearty greetings to all the panelists over here. As my school is a senior secondary school,
Requesting all the others to mute themselves. Please mute yourselves. Meenakshi, can you mute yourself?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, please continue.
yeah, so I do have a students from pre-primary school also. So initially from the state government, we have got a notice which has bounded us, given admission.
Meenakshi, please mute yourself. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So we have got a foundation from the state government that we have to give admission to the student in class 1 with 5+ years of age. But as earlier it wasn't there, so it was a kind of a challenge in front of us. So we have taken a permission from the government, and they have given us a buffer time of 3 to 4 months. So that is with respect to this. So from that moment only, because NEP, everybody was talking about NEP. So this was the initial change which I have done in my school, that my pre-primary students I have given admission of at the age of 3, so that it can be properly incorporated in the coming time with the new education policy. If everybody knows about it, there is a new academic structure in the NEP, that is 5 + 3 + 3 and +4. And this 5 is known as basically a foundation stage. And as per the new education policy, they are saying that this is activity-based learning should be there, and this is the developmental area. And in this area, we should not bound the students to use only one particular language, like many public schools, as I am a part of public school. Many public schools do that, we have to communicate in English only. So, and parents also, you know, want this thing that when the child is going to the school, they have to speak in English. If they're not talking in English, they think the school is not doing anything. So this is one of the things was there, that now we have to use a bilingual language. But one way I support this thing, because we are talking in a language to the child, which the child may not be able to understand. So we have to come little compromise with this. So this is one of the changes which I have inculcated in my school, and I have told my teachers that please try to use a bilingual language and teach the children word by word that how it can be used or translated in another language. And then we have designed our curriculum. It is more activity based. It is more based on the development of their cognitive skills, on the basis of more their motor skills. So we have redesigned our curriculum as per the new education policy. Another important vision of the NEP, if you see, it is that their idea is behind it to develop not only the students with the knowledge or with activity-based learning or with multidisciplinary learning, but they want to make them a patriotic individual. the citizens who do have a very core love to their country. So that from the foundation basis only we should start. So we are doing with this respect also. All my teaching areas, whether it is the numbers, whether it is the alphabets, or whether it is about the science or other things, in my timetable, I have included already a 1 lab period and one, this is open classroom system is there. So we have constructed 1 classroom outside the school. So in a week, the student has to go in that open classroom. So teacher is expected to take the classroom outside only, not within the walls. It is in the lawns only, and they are surrounded by the trees and birds. So they're in the, it's a kind of a Gurukul type of a system. And class wise in my school, I have made the class kitchen gardens. So we have divided the different sectors, and the students and the teachers are responsible for their kitchen gardens. So that with respect to the agriculture, just to get to know them, what are seeds, how they grow. In place of teaching the student what is the germination of a seed and drawing the few diagrams on the notebook and let them know. So these are the small initiatives I have taken. And in the classroom itself, like to teach the numbers along the tiles, we have made the numbers from 1 to 9. And we are asking our students to skip from 1 number to 2 and then go to. So
Great.
by the skip counting or the counting in forward and backward. So these are the small things
Yeah,
we have
wonderful.
already.
But I think though they are small, they are wonderful steps.
Yes. So class-wise, we have redesigned, and I make it compulsory with my teachers that the students have to be come out from the classrooms. Earlier also they were coming, but as we were too much focused for the academics and all those things, now our concept has been changed now towards the imparting of a knowledge, and hopefully we'll be able to align with the new education policy.
Thank you so much. Wonderful ideas. And I love that you all are focusing on ABL, that is activity-based learning, and FLN, where we talk about foundational literacy and numeracy. Also, what I liked is that looking at this aspect of roots to roots. How are you going to use the roots so that you are able to get rooted in the culture of our Indianness? So these are some of the things which are very essential aspect of and vision of NEP, that by the end of 2030, we are able to create that national fervor in our students is something that NEP is looking out for. Thank you so much. Yes, coming to Anita George, I would like to hear from you your approaches towards making this vision and mission a reality.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your words. And it's an honor to be a panelist today as we gather here to discuss a pivotal milestone in the field of Indian education. I have participated in previously in 2 of UMA's conferences in person, and I'm extremely pleased to be a part of this discussion today. And coming to the topic and the question, as school leaders, I'm sure that we are all trying to upscale and revamp our approach towards education to ensure alignment with the vision and principles of NEP 2020 and the NCF guidelines. The efforts taken by CBSE for training us principals and the other school leaders for this purpose are actually worth mentioning and appreciating. With the introduction of school quality assessment and assurance framework, I'm sure this is actually very common and known to all of us, SCOF by CBSE. It has provided a structured framework for quality assessment and assurance. And as schools, we all, I'm sure that it has further strengthened our commitment to providing a holistic and learner-centric education. I believe that our system is, our previous system is crippled by 3 R's. That is repetition, restriction, and regimentation. And with the adoption of NEP 2020 and following the NCF guidelines, we can overcome the 3 R's to a great extent, I should say. And the key areas where we have as a school, we are a school in Kochi, and we have made deliberate efforts to revamp our approach to education. Various areas are there. I would like to list out a few of them. First is about the curriculum reforms, as ma'am has already spoken. Like, we have carefully reviewed and revised our annual pedagogical plan to align with the competency-based approach advocated by NEP 2020 and the learning outcomes specified in the NCF. Our curriculum focuses on, all of us are doing that, I'm sure, fostering the 21st century skills, creativity, social emotional development, and so on. As the sir was saying before, the learning outcome-based pedagogy is now, pedagogical approach has changed, and now it is centered around the learning outcome-based instruction. And we have shifted from a content-centric model to the one that focuses on desired learning outcomes for our students. Actually, specific learning outcomes for each grade are published by the NCERT. And this means that our teachers can design lessons and activities that explicitly target the specific learning outcomes and allowing students to acquire the necessary knowledge and skills and attitudes. We also have a toy-based pedagogy in the lower grades in the foundation stage, like games as pedagogy, storytelling. Yes, of course, the experiential learning, which varies across the grades. And these are some of the very effective, economical ways by which we can bring in direct experience, learning experience for our students. Then there are a variety of student enrichment activities which are being included for the students in alignment with the NEP recommendations, such as Heritage India quiz, science exhibitions, Ganit challenge, reading challenge, and more of exposure to games and sports. And as CBSE instructs, we need to upload and participate. It is mandatory for us to give a report of all this, and definitely we all schools are doing that, I'm sure. And then about implementing various pedagogical approaches, and every CBSE trainings and in-house sessions we provide, we are coming across, our teachers are trained to adopt various innovative teaching methodologies that promote inquiry and critical thinking. And the next thing is about technology integration. I should say that we are emphasizing technology-based learning. We have integrated technology in the classes and digital resources into our daily teaching and learning practices. And we continue with online classes on days where emergency state holidays, like last week, we had 3 days off for rain because of the heavy rains. And then we do not allow the classes to be missed because we are already in track with the online classes, and even the flipped classroom strategies are used for the higher grades. Next is, we believe in the continuous growth and development of our teachers, as I just mentioned, and to ensure that they are well equipped to implement the NEP and NCF effectively. We provide regular professional development opportunities. I think few weeks back, we had the first of a kind in the state of Kerala. We had a very elaborate one-day program taken by none other than Mr. Ashok Ganguly sir, a former CBSE chairman. He had given a wonderful session on NEP 2020 and the challenges that we are facing each day. And with the last point, which I want to add, is with the introduction of SQUAF in schools, we have further strengthened our assessment practices, and teachers are being trained to set more creative question papers, including blueprint preparation, so that our assessment focus not only on knowledge acquisition, but also on the skill development, critical thinking, and holistic growth. And we emphasize, as usual, like formative assessment, for project-based, and even portfolios to provide a comprehensive understanding of the student progress. And to conclude, I would say that by embracing the SQUAF framework and aligning our practices with NEP guidelines, we are committed to providing quality education that nurtures the overall development of our students. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, Wonderful, wonderful. A lot of takeaway for me too. Especially, I loved your repetition, restriction, regimentation. These are the things we should really be out, and we need to revise the plan. You also spoke about specific learning outcomes, and I think that is what NEP is looking out for. That we are focused on specific learning outcomes, so that children are able to really develop the expected skills. What you spoke about, the knowledge, the skills, and the attitude. What we are talking about, all three. The tripod needs to be taken care of, and you have explained it beautifully. I would now like to go to our stalwart Shailaja Moye ma'am, who is now retired, but I know and I have seen her work, and I'm sure that NEP policy is just a name for her, because she has already done all these things in her school long time before, So I would like to hear from Shailaja Moye ma'am. Can you please talk to us, Shailaja, and throw light on this?
Good afternoon to all of you, and welcome to all the NEP stalwarts who are there in their own schools. What NEP means to me, you call it National Education Policy or New Education Policy. For me, it is an education policy. What do we want? Cognitive, cognitive, psychomotor domains. We need to go back to our roots, go back to our culture, and come back again. But what we added was something new. Then what we added new, technology came in. That time we had chalk and talk. Now we've got technology. Even the Chrome has gone, and we have now come to 75 inches television, which can be used in our classes. That is how NEP looks at us. Progress, march ahead, and let's march ahead. Another thing, what NEP for me means is very important and a lot of effort given to guidance and counseling. Call it CEL, social emotional learning, or you call it guidance and counseling, whether in the form of peer tutoring or in the form of self-identity. This is something that the policy has really taken a big walk. It's like walking the talk and talking the walk. That's what we mean with NEP for a person like me. Another thing that has come up with NEP is everything is new. All we have done, but now we are doing it in a gift wrapping. There's a new parcel that we are wrapping because it's more child-centric. All education always is child-centric, but this is more child-centric because we are trying to look at the face of the child and teach with the heart and head together. All the domains are touched. Learning outcomes were always there in the past. Today, we are giving it a lot of importance on that. It's a tight but a light regulatory affair. Another thing what has come with NEP, which is very appealing to me, is quality education, not quantity, but quantitative aptitude of the child with multiple intelligence has to be considered when I cater to my 40 or 50 children in the class. Each child is unique. And because each child is unique, I have to prepare each child in my class for a futuristic career, which are now linked to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So I have now got to link my class, go outside my class, take them onto the cloud computing area, from there take them onto the horizon and show them that's a world child where you need to reach. This is what for me NEP means. Last but not the least, for me NEP also means, yes, I as a teacher also need to grow. I'm not going to be, even if I teach the same subject in the same class for 10 years, I will still be different every year. I have to be different because the way I look at it has to be from the angle of the child. So now it is integration, not with the subjects alone. It is integration with my child, my growth, because now I'm growing older, my child is also growing older, and that gap being filled with activity-based learning, and for that, activity-based teaching, and that will take me to activity-based assessment. Even my assessment evaluation has to be that way, not just marks what I wrote for 2 hours in the paper. How did my child progress? My cumulative record card is going to be a fantastic card, better than a PAN card or an Aadhaar card. It will have everything of my child over there. The horoscope educational horoscope onto that. This is what for me NEP means. Thank you very much, Seema ma'am.
Thank you so much. When it comes from this beacon of education, I think it says it all. And Shailaja ma'am, you rightly said the head, the heart, and the hand, they all three need to work in cohesion, in collaboration. Then only the expected results are possible. And yes, tight but light policy. That is something because today we live in a very different kind of a world. So everyone wants to be, empathy has become a very important aspect of each one of our lives. So all these regulatory affairs also, we have to have a tight hold, but at the same time, we need to be light. And when you spoke about multiple intelligence, I think as educators, we all need to look at this kind of a multiple intelligence very, very empathetically, so that we are able to cater to every child's need and offer to him what they really need to get. Thank you so much. And yes, now I would like to hear from Kanchan ma'am. And Kanchan ma'am, sorry for using your name as Kalpana at that time. I was a little confused. So sorry. Yeah, over to Kanchan ma'am.
It's okay. Thank you so much. And thanks, Sandeep ji, because I think this is the second time when I am associated with him. One was a very offline session, nice, and now today I'm here. And I just want you all to turn your clock from 2020 to ancient India. See how I'm working here. I'm working actually in the plan of RDL, because I'm principal of Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Vidya Mandir, where we are working as per philosophy of Gurudev, 5 elements of life. The same we are following in our practices from long back, but definitely now it is tuned as RDL. What is RDL in my opinion? Like everyone said, the technology integration, and the most important thing is research-driven laboratory. Because in my opinion, classroom is a laboratory where every day we are learning new things from our children. I cannot say we are teaching them or we are guiding them, but definitely we are learning from them. And the same kind of research we can carry for our further enhancement. And we implemented it from a bus, because our children are coming, we are very far, where you can see the building my backside, and we have a complete nature around us. So when our children are coming to buses, they are chanting Hanuman Chalisa, they are chanting Ramastuti and some Gita Shlok. And our primary children, the foundation class children, they came to me. There is one doha in Hanuman Chalisa, and then they came to me, oh, we heard many times how the mathematics was started in Hanuman Chalisa. So we can see how these children are learning. That is the reason. And then we have a very good period, which is known as quality talking time, QTT, with their class teacher or subject teachers. But generally, I'm personally going to all classes, including pre-primary, where they are waiting for me now when madam will come and we'll have that QTT. So what is this quality talking time, where we are talking with them? Personally, I'm talking with them about their social, emotional, what is their family, how they are learning at home, what is their environment. So this is all important for our research practices to enhance them. And through this, I have got n number of ideas from students, even when we are having our assemblies, different kind of assemblies with them, or they are attending some, we are spiritual school also. So we have some Rudra Puja and all, but now they are coming with the scientific explanation of each and everything. And the day when I explain them about this ancient toilet system, you cannot imagine, they were stunned. How is it possible in India? They asked me literally, Madam, सच में हमारे भारत में ऐसा हुआ है? So what was that time where the gap is there? What NEP wants, in my opinion, they want to fill this gap. Now we are moderating, we are supporting them, we are guiding them. But in ancient time, they were discovering themselves. So that is the reason we say research-driven laboratories are there for us, where we can make them to learn. And yeah, one more important thing which we have started in our school, which was beneficial during Corona period, that was Ayurveda curriculum from class 1. It is not like to write something or to learn something. A very simplest way, a teacher was talking to them when the mummy is preparing tea at home, why she should add clove, why she should add tulsi leaves, what is the reason? During Corona period, we got the positive feedback from our parents. The children are saying to prepare kadha if we have cough and cold. So in this way, we are taking them back to their root. And I hope this is the holistic development. With this meditation, exercises, Sudarshan Kriya that we are doing regularly, because that is a protocol of our school. So we are not doing new thing, but yeah, physical development, biological development, and definitely social development. And whatever I have learned from all the educators, really, I think we all are following this lot many practices in our school from foundation classes till class 12th. Yeah, one more thing, I love to narrate story. And whenever I'm narrating story, again, I'm in Madhya Pradesh, so we have 2 Jyotirlinga. I'm just narrating the story how the stem cell technology started from ancient sages in India. And they love to listen every time with these new kind of stories. So the same way, the one challenge is there with teachers, because see, during our time, probably the reading was too much, or we have a good observation. And now, like CBSE is going for the teachers training programs. Even I spoke to CBSE, we need to make a lot of changes, which must be practical oriented teachers training programs in place of only online classes, where they must understand even our Ved, what is science in our Ved, and what is, the research in our Ved, and how they're beneficial for overall development of our children. Thank you.
Oh, that was wonderful. And I really liked your QTT idea, where I think that is the place where you really, that is the time, that is the place when you really connect with the children. And I think this connection is something which NEP is also looking out for, because they are all talking about attitude building and connection. The second thing that I also liked what you mentioned about discovering themselves, which is so very important. In ancient time, we were discovering ourselves. Now we are not, we are just trying to guide, them. But yes, what is essential is that the potential is already there. Everything is there, innate potential. All that is needed is to be brought out. And if a child brings out on his own, the discovery is something which will be long lasting, it will not dwindle away on the way. So thank you so much, Kalpana, Kanchan ma'am, for that. And now I would like to ask Sarita ma'am, would you like to have me direct this question to you, and would you like to say something about this?
Yeah, can you please repeat the question, ma'am, if you don't mind?
Surely. I just wanted to say that NEP has been designed with a very, very futuristic vision and well-guided principles. So how have you upscaled and revamped your approach towards education in order to remain aligned with this vision and mission of NEP?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I would like to tell you this, that NEP 2020 has really brought a change in the education. A part of things what has been updated in NEP 2020, some part of that we were already doing it. Now, when you say how have I integrated about it, so as ma'am was saying that linking the topics along with the subjects, so I run my SSC board school. I had 2 schools in Cherni Road, that is South Mumbai. So in being this SSC board, I have changed the culture of the school, as I have worked with premier schools like Royal International, Vibgyor High, Orchid International, with CBSE and ICSE boards. Got into the language skills, hands-off learning, created language room for the schools, the children, where if we talk about the environment, the sitting in one class between 4 walls really make the children feel restless. So this change, what is there, which I have got that training the teachers about this, that how you need to enhance the kids and motivate them to learn in the better atmosphere. We have started with theory of knowledge and co-curricular activities in the school, where theory of knowledge is the part of first term. So what we do is, in our school, how we have implemented is taking a topic as per the grades. We link on, if I've taken our neighborhood, and with this topic of our neighborhood, I link all my subjects like English, science, history, maths, EVS, and then we have created a curriculum for this, wherein week 2 periods have been given to the children, along with a 0 period. Here the teacher, we make an interactive session. How, what, where and why. The questions are asked to them. And accordingly, we give a chance the children to come out with their ideas and implement in the class. We then put these children in the group 6 or group 8, G6 as we call G6 and G8 groups, where kids themselves are given the time to collect the informations on the topic given and implement. And later, then we take these children, we have already done this last year. We have interviewed the people around, getting to understand that how well versed they are. And then they work on the presentation. We call the parents to the school and then we execute it. Where the kids learn, they have an interactive session, and the children of this SSC board, they really are working in sound. Even through this, we create a street play and we go to the areas from where the kids are coming. And then whoever the children are there from that area, we call the parents, we invite them, and then we do the street play there, along with giving them a small token of love and appreciation as well, and some part of guidance about the education system. So, ma'am, this is what we do, and this is how we implement.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I should say that you have proved that boards really do not matter. It's not whether it's an IB school, an ICSE school, an IG school, CBSE, but it's what matters is the way we as educators and teachers take things ahead. And you have proved it because you have thrown the opportunity open to your children to brainstorm, to think, to connect, to collaborate, and come up with innovative ideas. And that is what looking at, and that is the vision. So thank you so much, all of you all, for this wonderful interaction on this topic, on this area of NEP's vision and mission. Before I close this question and move to the second question, I would like to say that yes, NEP's vision is to look at equity, an equitable approach, something like a vibrant, high quality education, which when I hear all of you, I realize that each one of you is imparting very, very high quality education, looking at the constitutional values, respecting them, constitutional and our ancient values. So rooting into your roots, finding roots to your roots, and becoming global citizens. So Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is something that we all need to look at. And finally, becoming responsible and committed to a sustainable development goal. This is what the vision of NEP is talking about. And I think through all your activities, you are definitely reaching out to these goals of NEP. So now we will go to your individual questions. And I would like to start from Meenakshi ma'am. Meenakshi ma'am, I have a question for you, which talks about the much talked aspect of NEP. And the much talked aspect of NEP is Parak. Parak is something which NEP is so ambitious about, you know. It is one of the most ambitious steps of NEP. How will this support quality education and promote innovation? It says that Parak is going to promote innovation, it is going to promote quality education. So can you throw some light on this?
Yeah, thank you for this question. Now here I feel Parak is not only the government has thought that to unite interstate and to collaborate different boards together, to bring them together, you have to have a common platform. And that's what Parak is doing. And through Parak, we'll have a common assessment pattern and a common, I mean to say, rubrics, common, I mean to say the entire system of assessment and analyzing students will be systematic through Parak. And otherwise, what used to happen was each state were doing their own thing. Each board was trying to do. Now, through this, everything is confined to one single thing. And it will be very easy. Suppose if tomorrow from Mumbai, I get a transfer to Gujarat, or I get transferred to Punjab. So what will happen is I know the layout, I know the outcomes. I know how to frame the entire assessment pattern in a systematic manner, and then how to have this 360-degree comprehensive report card, you say, or judging, evaluating the students. So I feel this common platform was very much important. So now, be it ICSE school or CBSE or state board, everybody will have to follow one common system which NEP has laid towards us.
Yes, thank you so much, Meenakshi, because this is all about setting norms, standards, and guidelines, and which are so
Yes.
common to all. And I think right at the beginning, when we the opening comments which were made by Professor Ranjit, sir, they were about OBE, that is outcome-based education. And I think that monitoring achievement of LOs is one important aspect of Parak. And what sir spoke about is outcome-based. So I think if these two are aligned together, we will get some wonderful results about what sir spoke. Thank you so much, Meenakshi, for
Thank
this beautiful answer. I would now like to go to Anita Rana ma'am and put across a question to her. How has the policy brought vocational education to the forefront? What measures have been taken by you to make school education skill-based?
Yeah, well, thank you, Seema ma'am. See, the first part of the question is that how has the policy brought vocational education to the forefront?
Yeah.
So basically, we need to understand first about the vocational education in the previous education policies. Then only we can look into the policy which has been brought by the NEP. Actually, earlier in the other education policies, vocational education has been treated as a part-time, you know.
Optional.
It was as an optional. It was not in the mainstream subjects. So the major hurdle or the major challenges what the other education policies has been faced, that is about the organizations and the implementation. And another one is the social stigma. Social stigma, why that is important, or that causes the, basically you can say, vocational education fallacy, that is known as. So why it has been done? Because parents and the students, after getting enrolled or qualified with the education, they were not being offered the white collar jobs. So they are considered basically the secondary jobs. So not the parents and not the students are not willing about it. Another thing of the implementation, because earlier the vocational education has been taught in two ways, two forms, theoretical concept and the practical concept. So basically students were opting this vocational courses as an additional subject, and only theories has been taught to them, but there was no practical about it. So less interest, and it has not been implemented in a proper way by the teachers also, because teachers was not skilled to teach that particular vocational courses, because as per the education policy, all vocational education courses has been implemented in all the schools and colleges. But now, after seeing all these challenges and after doing a lot of research work, new education policies has done the few, you can say the few options. They have come up with a few options, and they have integrated the vocational education in the mainstream subjects. This is the beauty of the new education policy. They are not considering it as an optional subject. They are saying it is compulsorily, you can integrate it with the mainstream subject. And there are many fund policies are also there which has been given to the vocational education. Another thing, as per the curriculum of the vocational education, they have in the new education policy, they have incorporated that as per the area, as per the geographical location of the particular place, you can opt the vocational course. For an example, there is the area, just say in Chennai, if it is a textile industries, other industries. So as a part of the curriculum, you can opt for the textile related vocational courses only. In Rajasthan, if it is there, so they have made this provision in that vocational courses can be on the basis of the state, it can be optional on the basis of the area. So that you can go to the people and you can ask them to come and teach as a part-time. Now, another part is what measures I have taken in my school education and how I have made it a skill-based. Basically, I have for this, I have contacted my parents and the few people who can opt themselves and can come the few classes to my students. Like I do have the parents who are very good in the fine art skills, in the fine arts, or they are very good in the craft area. They're the parents who are very good in doing the textile dyeing or textile printing and painting. So I conduct the workshops and the trainings for the teachers also and for the students. So they come to the school and they give the classes in the workshop with respect to this. So this is how I'm trying to inculcate interest with respect to this. Maybe later on they will take it in, they can identify their skills and they will be able to go in that stream.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think the very fact that you are giving them exposure is very important so that they understand what is available, for them to explore. Secondly, I think we need to, when we of vocational education, to look at this is of our area. If we are able to do, I think we will be able to provide better things. So before it becomes a skill-based analysis of that area and designing certain internship programs for the students, it is going to be of a great help. But yes, I really loved what you have said, and we all need to look at vocational guidance vocational education with a very, very on a very serious note, so that it is taken up by all, and we are able to create that make in India a reality. That is something which is so very important. So now my question to Shailaja ma'am. What measures is NEP expecting us to adopt in order to make inclusivity an integral part of the education system? Since you are a counselor, so I would like to ask you this question.
To make inclusion a reality, inclusion, first we need to understand, is not just putting the special children and our normal together. That is a far-fetched concept. What we really mean in inclusion is all together, yet uniquely developed. All the kinds of children are there, but each one is treated uniquely. Second, we have to remember in uniquely, there is equity and equality when I look at inclusion. Third part is, though everything is together, the curriculum is the same, the designing is different. So it's like connecting the dots, getting the rangolis ready, and yet we have a lovely mosaic tile that comes out of it. That is inclusion. So all are there together. We all join hands together, and that is where we say, yes, this is inclusion. What we talk of public and private partnership is inclusion. What we talk of assessment with outcome is inclusion. So every child who is there, all are part of it. There is no difference. So it's a democratically developed attitude, a democratically developed program where the entire country is now tied together with common threads of culture and root, and nobody is left out. All of us are in the same circle, or we are on the same page, but holistically developing as per our abilities, as per our attitudes, and as per what we can do, not what we cannot do. That is what we mean by inclusion. All together, yet unique treatment for each one.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I think inclusive and caring culture is something that we need to look at when we talk about inclusivity. Also, I think that NIOS is developing very, very strong modules for the Divyang so that they become a part of the mainstream. Alternate schooling is there, something that's sign language. Every school having a teacher knowing the sign language is going to become soon mandatory, I have heard. And then integration of students into regular learning, as Shailaja ma'am, you rightly put it, that yes, unique way of teaching the child so that every child feels that I am a part of the schooling. Wonderful thoughts on inclusivity. And yes, on that note, let us move ahead. And my question is for Ms. Kanchan now. Ms. Kanchan, a question comes for you. So how is NEP 2020 asking us to deal with challenges related to curriculum and its dissemination? That is the million-dollar question. How are we going to disseminate the curriculum? So yes, would like to hear from an eminent speaker like you.
Very true. Not many challenges are there to disseminate the curriculum. But whatever I'm observing, see, if we'll go to the sites of CBSE or Parak or we have lot many support from CBSE to design our curriculum. And mainly now it is integrated to change the trains in our technological driven system, like we have discussed even in the last discussion, where we have to work on ICT and IT. The most important part is the emerging today curriculum is not only based on whatever is given the content in our textbook system, but we are just living these boundaries of textbook because we have to follow STEAM. Integration of arts is very important to just to place in our curriculum, where we need a lot of training to teachers. The professional development is much more important before even it has to implement in our class laboratories. And for this professional development, see, what are we have the learning qualities, what should be the learning outcomes, how this curriculum must be framed, because now the framing is not only by one teacher. For example, madam gave very nice example, Shailaja madam, where we were putting dots to make rangoli and a good geographical design. This is given in class 3 mathematics book. See, a mathematics book who is talking about the art integration to make rangolis. Now the curriculum can be framed very easily. Now you can associate it, collaborate it with our tradition also. You can ask children to write in their language part, whatever language which they are using. So CBSE has supported us through NET forum, to different kind of forums where it is very advantageous for curriculum. But what exactly the challenge which we are facing as a principal, or I think as a teacher, to implement in that stipulated time of 40 minutes, which is given in the classroom. So we can divide this curriculum as it is given the framework by our NEP, foundation classes, then primary classes, and then secondary classes, senior secondary classes, and so on. Because after class 9th, definitely a parent and child, they yet focus only for their career, which is for professional development, not even the vocational development. I think we all have experience of this very well all over India, how they are migrating from school level to another level. Okay, so that is a big challenge for all schools and principals, especially where we don't have junior college system. And there we need to inculcate these values with the curriculum, because the problems which we are facing to plan the curriculum, here we have to go for social emotional development. Recently there was one news in newspaper about Maharashtra. I don't know how much it is truthful, but the old age homes are increasing in Maharashtra. So what we are teaching from childhood to our children, either to migrate, whatever curriculum says, you apply in the big industries where you will be only earning robotics, but where is your heart and your emotions? That part we need to put in our curriculum, where CBSE cannot support, but each one of us can support with help of stakeholders. So we all must have a meeting with our stakeholders, because their role plays here a lot. First, we need to counsel that parent. Like, we will give you complete teaching to your child, because still today also they want rote learning. I think this is experience in Madhya Pradesh. I don't know about our state, but definitely they want rote learning to their children, while our all the boards, they are coming out of the rote learning because they are working more on the child-centric, research-oriented, and use of self-brain. That's the most, because the concept delivery is most important. So our curriculum can be framed easily, like many of the speakers, they said very nicely, they are framing their own curriculum with lot many activities. ABL system, 100% the best system is ABL system, where curriculum can be framed. But with this, how values can be inculcated through their topic, through their chapter, without telling them this is for teamwork, this is for unity, or this is for something else. It can be given in the curriculum. And taking confidence of stakeholders. A stakeholder is both even parent, student, teacher, management, principal, and I can say now society. Because without our community, we cannot go to frame a curriculum. So we need some involvement of them also. When we frame this kind of curriculum, then definitely we'll have solution in future to implement and the vision which our policy wants from us, that is to integrate nationality in children, and that integrity has to remain with them and it has to inherent with them for the next generations. But it cannot stop here. We cannot say the modernization is not required. So always I'll say, if I'll go through my age, the first computer generation and now the modern technology, where I can say now we have trained 8 technological system, which is completely based on the Prezi software, number of software. So their upgradation, their utilization, collaboration with other schools. Suppose the facility is not available with me, I can collaborate even with you also. Like, please provide me these teachers or provide me this kind of support through internet, because everyone has now the mobile where we can learn from each other. So that collaborative curriculum framework will be very much supported, and we can solve the issues which are raised by the many people in India.
Great. Thank you so much. And I think that if we really want to see this change, we have to not look at the content, but we have to look at concept-based learning. Also, inquiry-based, discovery-based, and analysis-based learning is something that we all need to promote. So experiential learning should become a part and parcel of our daily activities, and no teaching in silos. I think silo teaching is something which has to stop, and a multilingual digital approach will really enable us. And you rightly said that stakeholders have to be taken into consideration. So assistive parenting also is something that we need to do so that they are brought out of that cycle of rote learning. And yes, that is going to help. Thank you so much. And now coming to Anita George, ma'am. A question for you, ma'am. Teacher empowerment is an important component of the policy. What will be the challenges and the opportunities that you all can experience over here as teachers? We all can experience as teachers over here when we talk of teacher empowerment.
Thank you, ma'am, for that question. I should say that this is another $1 million question, because ultimately the challenges in a curriculum, we teachers are the ones who are implementing this. So teacher empowerment is indeed a crucial aspect of NEP 2020, as it recognizes the pivotal role of teachers in shaping the education systems. So I will just go through the challenges along with the opportunities for the teacher. First of all, it is the professional development, providing effective professional development opportunities for teachers to enhance their pedagogical skills and keep up with the evolving needs of the students as per the policy is the key challenge. And CBSE provides numerous opportunities for the teachers to empower themselves and confidently implement the new assessment strategies and curricular reforms in alignment with the policy. Introduction of CBPs for teachers in the areas of art integration. Then, as ma'am just mentioned about the importance of value education, every class we need to provide connect some sort of values with the learning objective that we are setting. Then CBPs for dealing with cyber ethics, creative thinking, strengthening assessment practices are just a few to name. And all these promote a fair understanding and appreciation of competency-based education. Actually, numerous resources, as I've already mentioned, are readily available in the CBSE website as teacher resources, lesson plan samples, and CBSE is in the process of developing more such teacher resources to support teachers to implement active student-centric pedagogy. Now, however, in spite of all these, let me put across a question for all of us to think: who are the ones actually responsible for the teacher development? Who are the ones responsible for teacher development? We need to have a DIY approach to this. Do it yourself. First, you, that is the teacher. Then the teacher should understand that it is for the teacher along with the school. And then you and your school basically revolve. Everything revolves around the teacher. So that each teacher must understand and accept the fact that he or she is ultimately responsible for the implementation of this policy. And this is the biggest challenge. That is the mindset shifting, overcoming the traditional notions of teaching and embracing the innovative teaching methods, technology integration, and learner-centered approaches. Then about resource allocation, ensuring adequate resources, including time, funding, and support for teachers to implement new strategies and initiatives. The 4 M's: manpower, machines, materials, and over and above all, money. So these are various challenges, and the numerous opportunities for teachers to develop themselves are available, and NEP firmly advocates for teacher development programs. And NEP empowers teachers to exercise autonomy in decision making, curriculum design. So these are very, very crucial and of great advantage for the teachers. Independent instruction strategies, allowing them to tap into their creativity and cater to the unique needs of the students. And they can be creative as they can be. Before, it was not the case. And after the era of inventions, now we are in the era of innovation. Teachers need to be and can be innovative and allow children to have, imagination in the classroom, as imagination will lead to innovation, and innovation among children will further lead to entrepreneurial skills. And hence, there is an immense scope for autonomy and creativity among the teachers. Last point is about, ma'am has already stressed on the importance of collaboration, creating collaborative learning communities, that is fostering a culture of collaboration and sharing among teachers and schools nearby, where they can learn from each other, exchange best practices, and collectively improve teaching and learning outcomes. Such communities like Sahodayas, they are doing an amazing job, can encourage recognition and appreciation, and recognizing and appreciating the efforts and achievements of teachers, fostering a sense of pride and even motivation in their profession. So to conclude, in short, by addressing the challenges and embracing the various opportunities available, we can create an environment where teachers feel empowered, valued, and supported in their professional growth. And this in turn will lead to enhanced teaching effectiveness, improved outcomes, and overall the success result in the success of our educational system. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. And I think NEP is doing a lot in this respect, where they have brought up the NCF, a 600-page document for us. The NTA is now in place, where testing for teachers is available. NHERC is there. We also have now a compulsion of CPDs of 50 hours is on its way. CBSE has already done it. State boards are adopting it. And I think the possibility of career growths are many when we look at teacher empowerment. I loved your thought of DIV, that no one is going to do it for us. We are the makers of our own destiny. So we need to work on ourselves so that we are able to give the best to our children. All that is needed, as you rightly said, is shifting of mindset. And on that note, thanking you so much. I come to the last speaker now for this round, and that is Sarita ma'am. Sarita ma'am, I would like to hear from you about what are some of the new education reforms and strategies mentioned by NEP that can resolve the challenges in our education system. India is facing a lot of challenges since long, and this policy has come after a long period of 36.5 years. And what are the challenges that will get resolved due to this is something that we would all like to hear from you quickly.
So, hello, ma'am. So, impact on the students, which is very important through NEP 2020, which is probably giving an opportunity for these children to, learn in playway method, linking the things practically, being enhancing, getting involved personally with interactive sessions. That is one new education policy which is added. So the focus of the kids can increase on the skills, improving competency development of each. That is very, very important where we look ahead. Making the students' future more brighter. That is what the impact of NEP 2020 will take care of. When we talk about the academics, yes, definitely. The skills will be motivated because they are getting the hands of learning on it. Along with the students, even the teachers, where we talk about, getting the children enhanced, making them learn, changing the system. So all this starts from the teachers' table. So first thing is teachers to be trained, well trained, in fact, for whatever we are talking about. this is a major role what we play. If the teachers are well trained with these policies and proper training will be given, would be 7 days or 15 days, will really make the teachers more sound and they will be, capable to actually motivate and, explore their interest with the kids. Then only we will be able to, implement all these things, what
Yeah.
we are talking about.
Thank you.
So I
Thank
would
you.
like to give this feedback that this is
Yeah.
what I personally feel.
Yeah, and I think reduction in curriculum, subject integration, this is definitely done. But along with that, what NEP has offered us is focus on 21st century skills. And very important thing is sharing of school complexes, making a cluster of school complexes and sharing the
Absolutely.
resources. School preparation modules are made, and universal access is something that they are focusing on. And above all, you will find that we also see a national repository created, which is of great help to teachers. So a lot of things have come up. All that we need to do is we need to read our Nipun Bharat well. We need to read our NCF properly, and we need to deep dive into the National Education Policy 2020, which will really give us a very clear picture. So thank you, ladies, for this wonderful insight that you have given about NEP and how we can take it ahead through these two questions. Now my question comes to Sandeep sir and Akash sir. You have a very deadly combination over here. 7 ladies over here who are ladies and educators. So you know that we can talk endlessly, but I know that time is running short. So I will now like to put across, we have around if I take 5 minutes extra and ask everyone one question for which you will give a very quick answer, which should be within 1 minute, so that we don't exceed our time. Will that be fine, Akash sir and Sandeep sir, if you don't mind?
Absolutely, absolutely, ma'am.
Extra time.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Yeah, but I hope that we are on the right track. And with your permission, I take this extra time from you and talk to these ladies. And ladies, I request you to be very crisp to the point. Coming to Anita ma'am. Anita ma'am, equity is an important aspect of mental health. How does NEP look at equity in quick pointers, if you can tell that there are some pointers that NEP has mentioned? Just 4 pointers. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Seema ma'am.
We have a minute's time only.
Yeah. I'll give to it. I'll give in one line only answer of this.
Yeah.
As per the NEP says Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat.
Yeah.
I think it itself says a lot in that, because in their policy it is already been underlined and aimed that irrespective of any irrespective of any identity, whether it is gender, socio-cultural, geographical, socio-economic disabilities, no matter what, it has to be one school for all the students. It has to be one type of a curriculum only to all the students. So as being a school person, I need to inculcate and I need to, welcome the students from all the groups. Yeah. And I do have in my pre-primary class 2 autistic children. Already I do have. So our curriculum is the same, only my teachers' approach to teach them is different. Yeah. So everything starts with you, and we are not dealing with the files, we are dealing with the lives. This is I want to say. This is not you close the file, you can take it tomorrow. So interactivity and the sense of equality should be there in the mind of the teacher, and then connectivity should be there. They are one soul, we have to teach them.
Yeah,
so
thank you so much. So we need to go beyond gender equality, socio-cultural equality. And if you see into NEP, you will find that there is a lot of importance given to tribals also. And there is a special mechanism put in place in order to see that there is equity established for the tribals also. And that intervention is something very beautiful. And you will also see one more thing which you see, and I loved your concept of one nation, one board. Then that is why you see that the intervention starts right from the foundation level till the secondary level. Thank you so much for that. Once again, I come back to Sarita ma'am now. Sarita ma'am, can you tell me that keeping in mind NEP, how can you create a supportive environment for your students? A supportive environment is something that students need. Your time starts now and it's 1 minute. Sarita ma'am, I think you are on mute.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So this environment, when we talk about So I would like to give this feedback that believing that first it was monotonous, saying that discipline in the class. Let us just have, as the teacher said, attend, keep quiet silence. But I believe in give the children a comfort zone and let them, be themselves, and let the teachers be very, be with the kids like friends, and they will be totally yours and will get the best to you and for their future. In
Yeah.
all, I would like to say this.
Yeah, and I think that NCRT and NCT have provided us very beautiful guidelines. We all need to go through those guidelines so that we are able to direct them well.
In the
Nipun Bharat, which is a 317-page document, I suppose, which really gives us, stepwise guidance. And one more thing which NEP has brought up, which can really create a very supportive environment. We talk of inclusivity, but when we talk of inclusivity, we forget our gifted children. But NEP is talking about gifted children and the mechanism that needs to be in place, how we can make them feel wanted and not discourage them from aiming towards a higher goal. So that was something which I think is really a very, very commendable thing. Coming to Meenakshi ma'am now. Meenakshi ma'am, can I hear from you?
Yeah.
That NEP talks about leveraging technology for bringing in innovation. I know that you are a techno person and
Yeah.
quality in education. What are the expectations here when we talk technology?
My expectation, of course, is too high, but already I feel the schools in Maharashtra at present is trying to reach to the level, expected level, except coding and AI and few gamings. Such things have to still be incorporated, but I feel otherwise we are trying to reach out to NEP goal through smart board and by educational apps and giving facilities to individual, like, all this time people were talking about gifted children and giving different approaches. So at their time and their need, we can use this technology to the best, and NEP is wanting to do that. That gives relaxation to the students. Don't hamper them or don't tax their mind with lot of content. Give them, if they are free, let them do it at home. If they are not, give them special systematic manner according to their needs and space and requirement. So I feel we are doing it and we are trying to reach to that.
And I think NEP is supporting us in the best possible way because
Yes.
Nishtha, which is the teacher training app which has been used, or Meenakshi, can you please mute yourself?
Yeah, I'm mute. Unmute.
No, mute yourself. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So once again, you have got unmuted.
No, I'm
Just checking. Yeah, now it's correct. Yeah, thank you. So Nishtha is something which has come up. Diksha app is something which is helping. There is something which has been brought up called as the Bhashini, where translations happen. I think all this support which NEP has offered us through NCRT and all the other governing bodies, I think we all need to take help of it and introduce all these interactive practices, the capacity building workshops, which are again online. We also have one more tool, I think, which is called as Prashastha, if I'm not wrong, to identify all the developmental challenges. And that is what is very useful to the counselors also. So I think NEP is really supporting us when it is talking about leveraging technology. It is not just talking, but it is also supporting us. So thank you, Meenakshi ma'am, for that. And now I would like to hear from Anita ma'am that NEP has come up with some novel features. Which of these are scalable and doable, and which are the ones which look challenging? A lot of these features are there, especially like the FLN or the inclusivity. Can you talk about it, Anita ma'am?
You're asking from me?
Anita George?
She has already left, I think.
Oh, she has left. Okay, so I will just reflect a few things. I think that we need to look at inclusivity. We need to look at holistic development. These are some of the things which are very novel, even the timeline that we are expected that by 2025 and by 2030, we are able to streamline everything. And the curriculum framework which is provided, we all need to look at it with very, very new eyes, with fresh eyes. And I think if we look at that with fresh eyes, a lot of difference in our approach will be visible. Now I come to Ms. Kanchan, and I would like to know from her that innovation through subject introduction is visible through NEP. What are some of the subjects that have taken a front seat in NEP? What is the subject that has taken a front seat? Kanchan, ma'am?
Yeah, thank you. The main I can say now, there is a subject integration from KG to PG. Why KG to PG? Because previously we were having the 3 streams for a subject even when the children were selecting in their 9th or in their 11th classes, science, mathematics and humanities, commerce. But nowadays we do not have these kind of the boundaries. The main subjects which were in past and now is for NEP. It is mainly focusing on 10 different stages of the curriculum which has to be framed in subjects. It doesn't mean only one. For example, the vocational subjects, art integration, physical education, or we can say mathematics, science, and language, science, social sciences, etc. Now, even it is not mandatory, like the math should be there in engineering classes, Like I have recently one example where one of my student who entered in the stream of economics in ISER Bhopal, and he has passed out, just graduated with Young Scientist Award in economics.
Wow.
Boundaries are changed, and that NEP wants. The child was entered in this BTech in engineering, but finally he turned himself towards economics because he found that, and after first year when he changed the subject, definitely it was very much beneficial for his own career. And this NEP says like they have designed the subjects, but not necessary. Even recently, yesterday's newspaper was there, 200 more subjects will be introduced for class 10. See, now these 200, though it will be very difficult for school to implement because to teachers, their mentors, their facilitators, their courses, syllabus training, all. But definitely it will be very beneficial for students to learn them to undergraduate courses. So these 10 vocational subjects as well as the professional will help them to choose their career in right path. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think technology is something which has really come up very beautifully, where we talk about computational thinking, we are talking about design thinking, we are talking about global citizenship. AI and coding have become so popular. And above all, I think that today what we are entering into, I can say it in one word, and that is metaverse. We are entering into the world of metaverse, and we are taking our children over there. And NEP is showing us the direction, the way of moving ahead, moving forward, so that our children do not remain aliens into the world in which they are going to enter. Thank you so much.
Can I just make a last comment, Seema?
No, you are going to say, I'm going to put across a question for you before you make the last comment, because I will say, Shailaja ma'am, the best is saved for the last, So yeah, I'm going to ask you, school clusters is another important aspect that NEP focuses on. And what are the dividends? What is the benefit of having school clusters, because now everywhere, whenever we are running short of resources or something, why don't you talk to your school clusters is the answer that we get from our education department also at times, that all clusters come together and work in collaboration. So can you throw some light on that before we end?
A school cluster, or what we call a school complex, because today we also talk of redevelopment of housing in clusters. We also live in clusters when we live in a housing complex. But what will be the dividend that we'll get? We'll get resource efficiency. All resources will be efficiently shared, cared for, looked after. Plus, we will also get ability for resurgence of whatever the challenges that keep coming up. And we will also get research facility. What could be good in your school may not be good in my school, but we can at least join hands together. That's where we learn to shake hands well. There will be a healthy competition. All this while we were all living as an island. And now we realize that we are not competing with each other. We are competing with ourselves. So fine, all of us will improve. all of us will climb the ladder of success, and that is what the dividend we will get from school clusters. Everybody will be together, and if I have to put things properly, then I would say, look, I might be developing a vibrant community, which I will call Triburn. Why will I call it Triburn? Because it will be tribal and urban together, which will give me a complete vibrant community where all of us know we are supplementary, complementary to each other, and that the ego will break down. There will be no problem there. Attitudes will be positive. And if I have to put it in a simple word or a simple language, I'll say, look, I will really achieve the made for India glory for the make in India product by managing Indianness amongst globalization. This is what I will get from the clusters, school clusters.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I think competing not, but collaborating, yes, is the message that we carry with us today, that we all need to collaborate with each other. We need to hold hands with each other and move ahead. So this was something very wonderful. As we close, I'm just going to ask you one last question, which has to be answered in one word. Each one will give one word, and I would like all the organizers also to give me one word, one word for NEP. If you have to talk of NEP in one word, it shouldn't be a 2-word also, okay? Not 2 words, but one word starting from Meenakshi. What will you call NEP? An adjective for NEP. You are on mute, Meenakshi. You are on mute.
It's unique.
Unique. Okay, Sarita ma'am. Sarita ma'am, what will you call?
I'm there, ma'am. Can you please repeat again?
So what will you call? What will you call NEP in one word? In one word. NEP in one word.
Good innovation.
Good innovation. How about you, Anita Rana?
Descriptive, very descriptive.
Oh, beautiful. Kanchan ma'am.
Futuristic.
Futuristic. Shailaja ma'am.
Liberal.
Oh, liberal. And yeah, Shatabdi ma'am, I'm not going to leave you. I'm going to ask you too. How will you label it?
Revolution.
Revolution. Wonderful. And I don't know the name, 75641. So,
yeah, sorry, ma'am. I'm a new joinee here. Joined yesterday only. I will say divergent.
Sorry?
Divergent.
Divergent. Yes, Sandeep sir.
Ma'am, inclusive.
Inclusive. Anurag sir.
Inclusive.
Inclusive. Both are copying each other. That is not allowed, but okay, I will take it this time. Next time, not allowed. Akash sir.
So I'll say technology driven.
Technology driven. Okay. So that was beautiful. For me, I will say NEP is something which is just love. For me, NEP is love. And I think if love cannot change you, nothing can. So let us try to make efforts to see that through NEP, we are able to spread peace and love in this world, which actually is the ethos of NEP. And not only of NEP, but to create happy schools, to create loving schools, to create schools where peace and tranquility reigns is something that the world is looking out for, not only NEP. And I think if educators like all of us join hands together, the dream is not a far-fetched dream, it will definitely come true. So on that note, thank you so much for that lovely discussion. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very
so
much.
much.
Thank you so much,
This was such a
ma'am.
wonderful discussion. I hope everybody agrees. Now, before we
Yes.
move ahead and before we go away, I would request Mr. Anurag Chandra, who is the product head of Q&I, to please give the closing remarks on this amazing panel, on the amazing topic. And, we want you to talk from the technology perspective for the national education policy also as well. Anurag ji, over to you.
Thank you, Sandeep. Let me, on behalf of Q&I, first of all, take this opportunity to thank everyone who attended today's discussion and contributed immensely with their insights on the current education policies. Special thanks to Sandeep for hosting the session and Seema Sheikh ma'am for moderating and making the discussion so very interactive and focused. It's been like 1 hour, 45 minutes, but it's been very, very engaging. while we all appreciate that NEP is a good reform for education, we also realize that a policy in itself cannot become successful. So it's very important for educators to keep training, as it came in the discussion as well, to keep training, collaborating, and sharing their best practices to overcome the challenges that arise out of the implementation of the policy. It is very heartwarming to note that the focus has been shifting from the traditional rote learning system from which we also came out to an enriching activity-based learning. And it's really inspiring to see that educators like you have been at the forefront of it. We would also like to extend our thanks to Professor Ranjit Singh for sharing his thoughts on outcome-based education approach. We, as an organization, QNI as an organization, feels that it is actually dedicated to improving the learning outcomes and empowering teachers through the solutions that we are developing, through the technology solutions that we are developing. And hence we see a common ground between the educators here and us to explore and collaborate on in the future. So we really look forward to connecting with everyone present here offline as well at a time of your convenience to take this discussion forward. Once again, I would like to thank all the panelists here. And post this discussion session, we'll be sharing a virtual kit with you and a certificate of participation as well that will be couriered to you. And in case you wish to know more about QNI and what exactly we are doing in the technology space and in the competitive examination space, the email will have a lot of information. And in case you want to reach out to us, the email, etc., would also be there. We'd be glad to help you out there and looking forward to meeting you and exploring the opportunity to collaborate as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to all the wonderful educators out there. This is the third episode. This was the third episode of the wonderful Talking Education series presented by QNI. Stay tuned. Next week, we have a series of other, episode 4, 5, 6, some amazing educators coming your way on this amazing platform. So have a wonderful weekend ahead, and congratulations for a successful Chandrayaan 3 launched by ISRO. A wonderful achievement by India once again. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. This is Sandeep Gulati signing off on behalf of Universal Mentors.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.